Welcome to another segment of City Views, a New Bedford news magazine. Today we have some very interesting things that we're going to be discussing. Today we're going to start with Rule 42, which is a City Council rule. Rule 42, in the Reader's Digest version, essentially is a rule that requires that anything put on the City Council agenda is submitted within 48 hours before the meeting. This is important because very often during a City Council rule, they waive Rule 42. They just go, waive Rule 42, and with a wipe of the hand, they have just completely and utterly obliterated the state open meeting law, which also requires that any agenda item that goes on the City Council agenda be submitted 48 hours in advance. So, Mr. Johnson, how is it that they've used Rule 42 in the waiving of Rule 42 to violate the rules of Massachusetts?
Well, it's not only a technical violation, it's sort of like they're suggesting that they have the power to override Chapter 39, MGL Chapter 39 of the state's open meeting law. And as you know, no city council or no lower governmental body can make any rule that supersedes either state or federal law. And what they have been using it to do is to deceive the public. And as you've noticed that the late file agenda is usually the last part of the agenda where no one is watching that at that point anyway. And if they were going to reverse the issue whereby those silly resolutions that they give everybody a resolution for, if you sneeze or you blow your nose hard, you get a resolution, and that particular television time that is broadcast on public access, that's used for basically grandstanding to suggest that voters are just simple-minded and are only interested in the feel-good resolution kinds of things. And this city council is the only city council that does that.
Now, Tony Cabral has a new version of the open meeting law coming up shortly. Unfortunately, his compatriots up in the State House have decided that adding a fine to it would not allow the new law to pass. They're trying to tighten the law up so that municipalities are a little bit more responsible for where they're going. But as an example of Rule 42 waiving, we have a piece of property that was done down on the south end of New Bedford. A couple of properties that belonged to the citizens. It was granted to them through a deed back in the early part of the 20th century. The gentleman who did the granting eventually died. These two lots were then used by Matt Thomas in the former administration, using the late file agenda and the waiving of Rule 42 to illegally sell one of the lots to a gentleman from up around near Boston, and that is currently still in the court system. And another piece of property, the citizens became aware of what was going on and were able to stop the sale to one of the neighbors down there. But John Saunders used the late file agenda to simply waive the rights of the citizens away and grant an easement to this gentleman to essentially cover half of this neighborhood's beach with boulders. This hasn't actually occurred yet. A couple of the neighbors have been fighting diligently to overturn and to prevent the city from going forward with these hidden agendas or whatnot. Now, in your case, you're interested in what went on with the Ingram School.
I'm interested in what went on with the Ingram School and a lot of other issues as well. But what went on with the Ingram School, there's an issue whereby a piece of property is worth something like $1.2 million. And for whatever reasons there are, the mayor seems to want to sell this property to a nonprofit women's group. Now, I don't have a problem with you selling the property, but I do have a problem with you taking a piece of property that whereby you can put at least that sits in the middle of sort of like a thoroughfare and in the middle of a community. It's a huge piece of property, and without having any kind of public access, public comment period, or anything like that, for them to waive Rule 42 or any other waiver of the rules of procedure to try to fast track that, that's deceptive. That's something that I consider to be illegal, and one of the things that the City Council are going to do on Monday, April 28th, it goes back before the Committee on Property, which Kathy Daner now chairs. Very interesting. Kathy Daner is my city councilor. I live in Ward 3, and it's very interesting that they saved that particular chairmanship for her. Now, she's in the real estate business, and my comments does not suggest that Kathy Daner is going to do anything inappropriate. I just thought it was extremely interesting. But the Ingram School, there got to be more value in it than what is being projected now or what is being proposed now. And further, we do not need any more low-income housing with subsidies from Section 8 that the taxpayers are paying for. I mean, one of the catchphrases to this, well, they're going to invest $7 million in this over a period of years. That might be accurate, but what troubles me about that is that you're talking about tax credits, you're talking about HUD money, you're talking about taxpayers' money. Why not put it out for a bid and see whether or not there is a business interest in that? Why public housing? New Bedford is saturated with public housing, and in that particular area, I don't think that we need any more public housing. The other rumor, and I'm hoping that it's a rumor that's going around, is that the homeless shelter is being considered for the homeless shelter. I happened to speak to Mayor Lang yesterday personally. I ran into him, and he said that that was not accurate. But we won't know what's accurate and what's not accurate until all the proposals come in and to see what the city council action they're going to take on Tuesday, April the 28th.
And the problem with all this hood snookery is that they're actually breaking the open meeting law to attempt to cover up or to push their own agenda without any public input.
The other thing about the rule, waiving of Rule 42, perhaps they need to. I looked at the city council agenda this past yesterday, which was Thursday was the 24th. And there were two issues on there, I believe, that the mayor had put on there. There might have been another issue. I believe there was. I have to review it again to make sure. But what they're doing every time they waive Rule 42, and they've done that for a period of years now, every time they have done that and every time they've taken that procedure, they probably have broken the law, and everything that they have voted on because of the waiver of Rule 42, that should be reviewed by the Attorney General's office to see whether or not they have to go back and redo all of those things that they waived Rule 42 under. When you look at the City Council Rules of Procedure, the new booklet that the councilors are now using was printed up in 2004. It's not even a print. It's a pasted, taped-in section, which leads me to believe that some flip-minded city councilor who thought that they were smarter than anybody else would put that into the book. But the point of it is that all the past councilors who are not there now and the present councilors who are there now knew that they were doing something that was inappropriate and also illegal. I think that you and myself and Tony Amaral and a bunch of people were at City Council one night when the City Council attorney, David Jarkowski, reminded them that there is no such thing as a late file agenda. Whatever you're going to put on the City Council agenda must be in Tuesday by 10 a.m., which is 48 hours before the council meeting. They cannot claim ignorance of the law. I don't know what I'm doing, because if you don't know what you're doing, you ask somebody. If you ask the city council attorney and he doesn't know, or you ask the city solicitor and she doesn't know, you always can pick up the phone and call the Attorney General's office and make sure that you're not violating any state law by coming up with some kind of illegal waiver.
Okay, now, to clarify this a little bit more, the Section 265, Duties of Committees on City Property. The City Property Committee has some rules that they're supposed to follow, and waiving Rule 42 and the late file agenda are used to violate these all the time. Any city property that is to be sold, rented, leased, or used for things other than being vacant requires that it go into the City Council at least 7 days, and in some cases 14 days prior to the actual meeting. In the case most recently with the Ingram School, where something was put on the late file agenda, something was waived with Rule 42, completely violated the city code as well. And so this is something that shouldn't be allowed to exist.
Well, the City Council has some options on April the 28th. First of all, yes, it does have to go out by the purchasing agent. But it is not up to the mayor. If you read Rule 42A in the City Council Rules of Procedure, it is up to them to sell that property. Now, if they're using the mayor as an agent for conducting city council business and they've taken a vote to allow that to occur, that's all well and good. But if they are not, they have the option, one, of canceling out this whole issue on the Ingram School. Yeah, you may have to put it out to bid again, but so what? For something that's worth $1.2 million that you're getting on there only $100,000, that seems to me that cheats the taxpayers out of something that's appropriate and an amount of money that can be used in a very positive and productive way. What they're doing now, to me, in my personal opinion, is not positive, it's not productive, and they've also violated rules of procedure. And rules of procedure and policy rules are simple laws, and no one is above the law in the city council or in the mayor's office.
What do you think that the average citizen can do to help change the city council's mind on the use of the late file agenda?
Vote them out of office. Well, that's one.
we have 2 years with which we can do that, but in the next 2 years, what can the average citizen do possibly to encourage the councilors to stop waiving Rule 42 and to put an end to the late file agenda and the consent agenda?
Well, as you know, I have sent them personally and email to all the councilors. Each and every one of them got it. They can't claim ignorance of the fact. There's also a petition as well as a complaint process that you can ensue as far as the Attorney General is concerned. Now, why would the Attorney General be involved? Because MGL Chapter 39, that's a state law. The Attorney General is responsible for enforcement of all state laws. So if they ignore and we're watching them, and they should know. Common sense should tell them or dictate to them right now that you're being watched, as opposed to what you're going to do with Rule 42A. I don't think that you, I, or any citizen wants them to go back over all the times that they waived Rule 42 and try to correct something, because that would be chaos and that would be a mess. But they have been amply warned. The Standard Times has warned them. Joe Coing, one of their staff writers and reporters, so have Jack Spillane. Now, to any politician with any kind of good common sense and any kind of honesty and integrity, it's best to take heed, because if you think that and it's not a threat, it's really a promise, if you think that we as a group of people, our citizens, are going to continue to have you just sit up there and violate rules because you want to be deceptive and you want to play games or you want to sell your soul and in the city council or do things that are incorrect and in a violation of law, you're going to have a serious problem. And that's a promise. It's not a threat.
Very good.
How you doing? Good. Old bastard.
Yeah. So what's going on in around the Bedford?
Oh, you didn't hear yet?
What?
Delgado. Ray Delgado, he's going to be running again this year.
Oh my God!
Run, Ray, run!
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 That guy has been running for office before I was born. Before I was born, did you hear me?
Before.
There's a tear to my eye.
Don't cry, old man. I don't think he's going to get in anyway.
Fat chance. Like his friend.
You know, The man is just completely ridiculous.
Ridiculous isn't the word.
He's not so much unsuccessful as he's a master of failure.
You got that right. When it comes to failing, that guy gets an A.
You said it, old man.
I heard the mayor on the radio the other day. You know, he's not doing too good.
No, I don't think so either.
No, he cares about potholes. Potholes!
Potholes! You should be caring about kids smoking pot! Not potholes! What's the matter, eh? Want a bit of ganja for you too? Potholes.
Yeah.
We got bigger problems in the city than potholes.
He protects the illegal.
The illegals?
Yeah.
The illegals!
Oh yeah, they got all the rights.
They like to go what? Sit around and take over American jobs.
Yeah.
Sit and get wealthy and do nothing.
They abandon their families back in their own homelands to come here.
Abandon your families. That's nice. That's real nice. Yeah. I have worries about this city, my friend.
I have lots of worries. You see all the houses? They're not even boarding them up right.
No. They just take and raise them, tear them down.
Years ago, they said it was a pit city. It is. We're a pit, right beyond pit of Massachusetts.
Yeah, that good one. Like I haven't heard that 1,000 times before. Sorry thing is it's true.
Bumper stickers.
Bumper stickers.
Yeah.
What kind of bumper stickers?
Pit city. Pit.
Six months ago, Governor Patrick was able to pass some rules and laws that gave the film industry a 25% tax credit. This has had a very positive influence. Now, a few months later, we have two very exciting projects coming to the state of Massachusetts, actually three. In Plymouth, Massachusetts, Plymouth Rock Studios was formed about a year ago by David Kirkpatrick, who was a major player at the Paramount Studios at one time in the past. He also worked with his friend Earl Letts. And they've been working with the city of Plymouth for a while. Now they're putting together a proposal. They're going to open a 1,000-acre film studio, a California-style, 17 sound stages, $150,000 worth, 150,000 square feet of storage space. They're going to have a 50,000 square foot post-production studio, 300-room hotel, Buena Vista-style community and village for the people who work there and for the stars who are participating. The name of the company that they put together was Julia LLC. That's an indication of the height of the stardom that will be coming to Plymouth at this point. This is very exciting. Also, up in Weymouth, there's another group of guys, Southfield Studios. They were also about ready to invest $300 million in a major motion picture studio. On top of that, in the city of Taunton this month, they're going to start filming a movie with Martin Scorsese and Leonardo DiCaprio, and I believe, check my notes, movie's going to be referred to as Ashcliff, and they're going to be 2 months of filming, and the movie is based on the book Shutter Island, which is written by Donald Layen, he's from Boston. And Arthur Mata, our former tourism director, has been instrumental in putting these people all together in an effort to bring the movie industry to the state of Massachusetts. Now, this is exciting, Eddie, on multiple fronts, because we in New Bedford have some of the prettiest landscapes going, and I hope that the guys who are running this city take notice of this and find a way to take our wonderful public access studios and our beautiful landscape and all that we have to offer and integrate with these gentlemen as time goes on.
Not only do we have a great landscape, Massachusetts probably in the country is the citadel for history. And these studios, basically the one you're talking about in Plymouth, is going to be a family-oriented kind of studio that makes family movies, and family movies are the biggest sellers now outside of the, the rough and tumble kind of movies. But, moviegoers now are going to see the Disney Channel. We have just as much to offer as California, and we have a state-of-the-art studio here where we're sitting at now. That the high-tech equipment here and how this has been brought up to date makes us also a candidate for those kind of things. But you have to have the politicians who have the political will. I am sure that the marriage between Senator Therese Murray, Governor Patrick, as well as DeMasi, Senator Murray is a very powerful senator. She's president of the Senate. Plymouth, which office is also known as America's hometown. So what better place to have movies made about the history of this country, family movies, than here? If you also notice right now on I believe it's HBO, there is a John Adams series. I haven't gotten a chance to see it yet, but movies like that, movies like the Revolutionary Period, it all started here in Massachusetts. And I think that Americans in particular, and it's probably an overseas market for it as well, is interested in the true history of what we are about as the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, but more importantly, what we're about as a country. We're not going to get casinos. We're not going to get trains. So in terms of economic development, we have to think out of the box, be aggressive out of the box. And what better way to be aggressive out of the box and thinking out of the box than using the assets that you have to produce your own economic development? And the new legislation that was put in place by Patrick and went through both the House of Representatives as well as the Senate, it also gives us the same opportunity that it does in Plymouth and Weymouth. Who knows? Perhaps filming can be done in series and in parts. If you don't have if you want to do a segment, say, for example, on Fort Tabor and what had happened at Fort Tabor, we have the studios here, and besides that, the filming industry creates the kind of economic developments and jobs, and it keeps young people who are extremely talented and who have academic and college backgrounds, and even it also offers jobs for those people who don't. It offers jobs for across the board, whether you're in building, whether you're in administration, whether you're a computer geek, no matter what. This is the kind of economic development and economic opportunities that make sense. And I applaud Arthur Mata's input into this. And if Arthur Mata is good enough to help Plymouth get a $300 million studio, certainly he's good enough to put us at the table, particularly New Bedford and Fairhaven, but more importantly, New Bedford at the table of beginning to look at that seriously, have our legislators and politicians look at it seriously. They all want to be stars anyway. If you don't believe that, every time a camera pops up someplace, you're getting a sound bite from them. So why not just go full scale and do it where it benefits many as opposed to a few?
Very good. For the sake of accuracy, though, Arthur Mata was involved in the Martin Scorsese film up in Taunton. In Plymouth is outside of his
The point
scope,
of it is that Arthur Mata has a connection to that industry.
Arthur Mata has the connections to that industry. He can help, hopefully he can help bring some of that $1 billion worth of development that's about to take place in both Weymouth and Plymouth and bring some of that over here into the South Coast. It'd also be a nice tie-in with the UMass educational facility, which does have a beautiful arts program. And we do have some very talented vocalists in the city of New Bedford.
Sure.
And a lot of good musicians and stuff. So there was a recent proposal in the city of New Bedford for a music school, is there not?
Yeah, Berkeley.
Yeah, Berkeley was going to come here. So this is a good opportunity. If you have a phone handy, call your local city councilor and ask them to get on that horse and help us ride it into town.
You don't even have to have out-of-state musicians come in. You got the University of Berkeley. Yeah. You have, as you stated before, you have talented musicians here. So whatever you need in terms of input into a movie industry, we have. And I would hope that common sense would prevail with politicians. Don't talk about things that are far-fetched dreams. Talk about things and work on things and be aggressive with things that have some final outcome and that are not counterproductive. And, you know, we need thoughtful, aggressive politicians to save us. If we don't save ourselves, no one else is.
This is so very true. Well, on to something more interesting.
Ladies and gentlemen, my sister, the one I love so much, the one who has blessed me, put your hands and your hearts together for Thomas Shirley!
I'm glad to be here on this evening. I've been running for Jesus for a long time. You know, God have no particular age. A child, if he's old enough to understand and learn in school, they're old enough to understand and learn about God and His beloved Son, Jesus Christ. I started singing when I was 4 years old. And thank God He blessed me to live to see that big 7-0. And I've been running for a long time, but I haven't got tired yet. I'm going to attempt to finish the song that I started. Through the years, I keep on toiling, Lord. Patiently waiting and watching to my Savior. I'm waiting on Jesus to come again. Teach me how to love my neighbor. Holy Spirit,
Hold the film. Keep it going.
Okay, one of the issues that came up in New Bedford this week is the issue of the Ben Rose field, whereby Councilor John Saunders, who led the charge, and 10 other councilors voted, as a matter of fact, that they want to now back away from what is there because they are under the assumption that not only is it bad policy, but there seems to be, to me really, that there is something other than what the city council is saying. There's been approximately $60 to $70 million already spent for that baseball field there. The kids in the neighborhood, it's also a weed and seed area. It's a high crime area. So baseball or in that field, it's nothing new. The council knew more than 2 years ago when about $700,000 were spent in terms of refurbishing it. And so their behavior and the action that they took need further explanation. And I am hoping that the councilor from that ward, that would be Councilor Bruce Dwart, and at least the 5 councilors at large, get some common sense to understand you can't do something undo something that has already been done, and recreation is a part of any coastal area, including a coastal waterfront. Why would you not have recreation in an area whereby you have a waterfront district, or you have a coastal management district, or a boating district? It just doesn't make sense what it is that they're talking about and trying to undo.
It sounds like we have a conflict between the needs to create jobs for the fishing industry and the needs to have recreational space in that part of the city. The little cove where that sits, if you walk down the little nature path next to the Ben Rose Field, you come out to a really nice inlet of water, which has boat ramp access to it. And there are some pleasure craft that are put over there. This is an area that would be very nice to be left as open space and to be turned into a nicer park for the south end. This is a piece of land that could be as nice as Fort Tabor, in a little calmer watered area. You got the beautiful lighthouse just a short distance away. You could possibly, I'm not an expert in the area, would have to check with some other people as to whether or not the cohog industry could be resurrected there. But I do know that they've been putting in some fish processing plants, and I do know that they would like to extend a few piers out to. They're looking for places to put more of the commercial fishing boats. And so I have a feeling that the reason that they want to back away from the Ben Rose Field and take that away from the kids in that area is so that they can park a few more large, rusting hulks in that part of the harbor, as opposed to allowing it to develop into a nice park.
Yeah, I think that the explanation you just gave of that is precisely what is the problem. But the city councils who are advocating for the baseball field to be moved to someplace else, perhaps the influence of the people that you just spoke of, the boat owners, the fish house owners, they're beginning to see that they need more space, that they need more land mass. And I suspect that is exactly why this controversy arose. I'm not saying that our politicians are dishonest, but I don't believe that it is up above board with honesty and integrity. And usually council at large who comes into a ward, and particularly the waterfront area, and begin to do these kind of things, have a greater influence. Well, those business folks have a greater influence than the community folks, and they think that they can shut community folks out from participating in their own neighborhoods where they live, where they work, where they play, and where they die and that's just not going to happen in this case, because they have a fight on their hand. And one of the things that I will say about Mayor Lane on this issue, I think that he's on the side of the folk who live in that neighborhood, the kids who want to play baseball there. He's the person that created this new baseball field. There has always been a baseball field there for at least 40 years, ran by the United Social Club. Ben Rose established that before he passed. And for them now to talk about taking away something that has existed for so long, and we've spent millions of dollars on it, is ridiculous.
Absolutely. Mayor Lang is a good advocate for baseball. Anyways, following the segment, we're going to put up all the city councilors' phone numbers and their email addresses. Please contact them and let them know exactly how you feel about this, particularly Bruce Duarte and the councilors at large, all of whom have some input in that area directly.
Got so much funk up in the rap, I should pack a fat bowl. Y'all should kick back, relax, and just roll. Roll with me, vibe with me. Roll with me, vibe with me. Roll with me, come on and vibe with me. Hip hop ain't